Are you thinking about doing a private adoption? Then you'll want to be sure to watch this video because we're going to talk about the important things to be sure you have in place and all the professionals you should have around you as you begin this journey. Hello, if we haven't met, I'm Stephanie A. I am the founder and executive director at Adoption and Beyond. We're a licensed agency in Kansas City, and I help hopeful adoptive families bring home the child that is meant for their family through adoption. I have over 27 years worth of experience, and let's dive into the important things to have in place when you are looking at a private adoption. So the first thing to know, what is a private adoption? A private adoption, it's also called a self-matching. It's also called an independent. You'll hear all kinds of different words used for it, and a lot of it has to do with what it's called legally within a certain state. That's why you'll hear different words used. But for this video in particular, this is pursuing an adoption on your own without using an agency. So really all you need to do and have in place for a private adoption is you need a home study and you need an attorney. Those are the bare bones that you need for a private adoption. However, I'm going to encourage you to think about other professionals that will be really important to put in place as you move forward in this journey. So here at Adoption and Beyond, we've created a new adoption education program where we help with families doing outreach, and we provide guidance on how to do that. So the first thing that you're going to want to do, and we have partnerships that we've created, is you're going to want to learn how to do what's called a self-networking or private adoption. How do you get yourself out there? How do you help expecting moms find you? And so there are professionals that are in place that will help you and will help guide you to those professionals so you can take those courses and just learning how to self-network yourself. So the next step that you will want to have in place is you'll want to have us, of course. So what we do is we help you through the rest of the adoption process in terms of once you have found a potential expecting mom. We're going to help guide you in learning how to what we call screen an expecting mom. So basically we're helping you determine whether one, this expecting mom is even expecting. Is she even pregnant? And helping gather what's called a proof of pregnancy. And then also just kind of do a red flag assessment. And so a red flag assessment are things that are considered that could be, that could put your adoption at risk of not actually occurring. So red flags are just that. They're just red flags. They're not saying this will or will not happen, but it just it helps you assess what the risk is to moving forward with a particular expecting mom. And you may find that the risks are more than you're willing to take, and you may find that this mom would actually be a better fit for somebody else. So we're going to help you work through how to do a risk assessment. We'll do that with you. Most importantly, we're going to help you identify the adoption attorney. And the adoption attorney is primarily the one that's in the state that the expecting mom is at. So we're going to help you research the different adoption attorneys and help you identify, and you will, interview them and decide which ones ultimately you feel you have the best rapport and the best relationship and the one that you want to work with. So we're going to help you find those attorneys and help you get those in place. Now, using an adoption attorney is extremely important, and it's extremely important to have professionals involved as early in this process as possible. I was talking with an adoption attorney here recently, and he says that he can't tell you how many times he has families come to them and he's like, "You did what? You've done what?" And sometimes it's to the point where the adoption can't be salvaged. It's too many things have been done illegally. And so that's why each state has very specific adoption laws. And so we want to get the right attorneys in place in that state to be able to help maneuver and to make sure you don't do something that you're not supposed to do in the adoption process. Then we're going to give you tools and help you start developing this relationship with the expecting mom, because there will be a period of time most likely between when you are matched and then when the birth actually happens. So just talking to you about how to develop that relationship, because, ultimately the hopes are for the adopting family that this relationship will continue on and that there is a placement and that there is a relationship with the expecting mom after placement as well. So we're going to make sure that you have these conversations with the expecting mom and make sure that you guys have the same expectations of what post-adoption contact will be like, just to make sure that this is a good fit for not only you, but also the expecting mom, because she deserves that just as much. We will also help you in gathering the social and medical history information. So that will either be us who help you with that, or the attorney who's working with the expecting mom will be the one to help you with that as well. Then next, you're going to want to develop a hospital plan. So we will give you the tools that are needed to be able to talk with the mom and to help develop a hospital plan. So that way you can kind of have expectations and to think through things you may not have thought of about what could happen at the hospital. And so that way everyone just kind of goes in knowing what the plan is, knowing that the plan could change, but at least the thought process was done ahead of time and people aren't going in wondering what's going on. Plus also we're going to help you get that shared with the hospital social worker, because I can tell you that the hospital social workers love having the hospital plan ahead of time. So that way they can be prepared to provide that mom with the best services when she comes in to deliver. We will also be there to support you in navigating the time between when the baby is born and before the time that the mom will place the child for adoption, if she places. So that's a really emotional time for everybody. So we'll help you during that time and just be there to support you and help you with anything that, that comes up that you're like, oh my gosh, the hospital plan said she wanted to do this and now she wants to do this. And that doesn't necessarily mean she's changing her mind. It just means that she's changed her plan for what she thought, because you don't know how you're actually going to feel until you're actually going through this process. So you may find that sometimes it's just helpful to talk to someone about the fears that you have. And then one of the most important pieces is, if the mom does decide to go ahead and go through with her placement, is getting the support that she needs, because you're doing this on your own. And so typically there's not an agency. So it's not an agency adoption, which with an agency, a lot of times post-adoption support comes along for the expecting mom. But when you're doing it on your own, there isn't that support for her. So we're going to help you identify where to get her that support so you can get that in place for her. So our goal is for you to feel supported from beginning to end. And as our name is adoption and beyond. So we are going to be there beyond the adoption. Just recently I received a graduation, of a kiddo that I helped place, 18 years ago. And so we just love continuing these relationships with families beyond the adoption process, and to be there to support you when you have questions, because families do turn to us because there'll be something that happens and they'll be like, how do I handle this? Or is this adoption, or is this teenage, that's happening, help me discern what's going on. And also sometimes there are, you may find that your child needs counseling down the road. And so we're there to help you find those resources and get those in place. So we're there from the beginning to the end. So even though you're going to be doing what I call a DIY adoption, you're not going to be completely on your own. You're still going to have the support that you need and still be able to pursue the adoption process pretty much on your own. So if this sounds interesting to you, then I'm going to encourage you to go to the link that I have down below to the adoption outreach guidance that we're providing to families. And we hope to see you soon. So please hit the subscribe button if you'd like to hear from us each week. And until then, have a great day.